Another toad is trying to reclaim its natural home with the help of WCS experts, the endangered Wyoming toad. Bruce Foster, collection manager at Central Park Zoo, has been working for over 5 years to save this species of toad, North America's most endangered amphibian. WCS's Central Park and Prospect Park zoos participate in a breeding program for the toads, and Bruce has led the effort, a task that is easier said than done. They might be tiny, but these toads are very particular about their creature comforts.
What we've tried to do in each one of our holding tanks is give a temperature gradient to allow the toad to select what body temperature he'd like to be at. At the top end, beneath the hot spot, that's 95 degrees. And as we travel down through the tank towards the water basin, we get down to 75 degrees. And during any day, the toads can just migrate back and forth depending on how they might feel at that time.
The Wyoming toad was declared an endangered species in 1984, and by 1995, all of the natural population had disappeared, leaving the toads kept and bred in captivity as the sole survivors of their species.
In 1995, the Fish and Wildlife Department in Wyoming produces a large number of offspring, which they distribute to a number of zoos, including us here in Central Park. And it was an attempt to distribute all these young in different holding spaces, sort of like not putting all your eggs in the same basket. And we were very successful with our first attempts at breeding and did indeed produce a clutch of eggs and some tadpoles that I brought back to Wyoming in '96.
However, it has been a rocky road, and Bruce has started to dig deeper into the root of the problem.
The sadder parts of our story with the Wyoming toad are that something has happened to their environment. With some internal funding, I was able to go back in 2000 and set up a summer's research project. They looked very simply at air and ground temperatures, as well as water chemistry from Mortenson Lake, the last known site where Wyoming toads occurred in nature. Part of my goal in my research was to develop a recipe for duplicating naturally occurring water in Wyoming. There's something very unique about their ecosystem, and zoos have had a lot of trouble reproducing Wyoming toads outside of Wyoming. So simply, I wanted to see if I could replicate and effectively use water that was more similar than dissimilar.
Like with everything in New York, it may not be easy, but we all know the song, "If you can make it there."
What I'm holding is the offspring from a pair who were actually produced at Prospect Park. And here they are coming back to New York to be part of our program. Their mom and dad were born in Wyoming, sent to Brooklyn for part of their program, produced a clutch of eggs in 1997, were sent to Wyoming for release, but a small group were held in reserve and used for future breeding. And these little guys are the prodigy of one of their breedings this year. It'll be a real true New York success story if we can reproduce these guys and have another group of tadpoles to send back to Wyoming.
Coming up next, what does it take to matchmake a snake? On Metro TV's Unblinking Eye. Now that Samantha has been weighed and measured, this big girl is ready for more attention. Samson, a robust male python, is moving back in.
Well, we separated them for a little while because during the breeding season, which is our fall, that's when the female will go through folliculogenesis, and if you keep them separated for a while, it's kind of like the absence makes the heart grow fonder theory. He's good, and then in a few minutes he starts doing the accordion dance where he moves us back and forth like this.
Come on, baby.
The keeper keepers have made their move. It's up to Samson to make his. Only time will tell if there will be a Sam Jr. Pythons aren't poisonous, but many snakes in the world of reptiles are. In over half a century, not one keeper has been bitten by a venomous snake. How do they keep on their toes? Practice.
This is the snake bite alarm. This is in case anyone's ever envenomated by any of these snakes. You're to ring this alarm bell, take the card of the snake that bit you. Well, preferably put the snake away first. Take the card of the snake that bit you, sit on the floor and wait for help. It lights up in that panel right over there and tells everybody in the building where the person that's been bit is. And we run drills once a month or so.
It looks chaotic at first, but we have a procedure that usually kind of falls out and everything goes into place. And if we keep the whole drill under 4 minutes, I'm happy. You know, from the time this person rings the bell to the time we get them to the door.
Today, I'm going to be a victim of the banded Egyptian cobra. I'm going to foolhardily reach into its cage and do something and get bitten on my right hand, maybe right here above the wrist, and ring the bell and see what happens.
Fortunately, I don't think anyone's ever been envenomated in this building in the 102 or 3 years that it's been in existence. Where's the snake? Okay, Frank, you got the...
Got it. Go ahead, make the call.
What kind of snake you got?
Banded cobra. Egyptian cobra.
Yeah, what's the number?
4.
Hello, police. We have a snake bite emergency.
Seth's getting the interview.
Okay.
Ready to go when you are.
From snake bite drills and measuring pythons in the Bronx to saving toads in Tanzania and Wyoming, it's business as usual for the world of reptiles. End of tale.